once you heat it up.
Folks, welcome to the House of Blues here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joined by Timbalero, guy who cooks the groove with Cindy Blackman, Carl Perazzo. Welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thank you.
Can you talk about a guy who I'm still looking to track down, but any significance from Pete Escovedo?
Pete Escovedo?
Yeah, did you know Pete?
I know Pete since I was at least 10 or 11 years old.
Aqua Dolce?
Can
you talk about the significance
of Pete
of
Escovedo?
as far as the lineage of Timbalero?
Well, he's one of the forefathers of the timbales, especially on the West Coast, well respected in the East Coast by Tito Puente and amongst others. And he went to the Mongo Santa Maria School.
Did he play with Mongo?
He actually did some recording with Mongo. I know it was probably mostly singing or weed or probably miscellaneous percussion, along with his brother Coke. The Escovedos for me are my family. They're basically like my brothers and sisters and my stepmom, my stepfather. If it wasn't for Sheila, my career would probably still be in the clubs.
Speak a little bit louder, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, project that. Explain why Sheila was important to get you into the clubs.
What if it wasn't for Sheila?
Yeah.
I would probably still be playing in clubs. Well, I'm still playing in clubs.
You know
what I mean? Sheila was a big part of my life. I happened to be in the right place at the right time, rehearsing one thing, and she was rehearsing her Glamorous Life release band, and so the drummer had gotten let loose that day, and she came in the room and she asked me if I wanted to join the band, and I auditioned, and I stayed with Sheila for 3 or 4 years.
Carl, I want to ask you a question. Can you talk about in the clave beat the concept that any note, when you get into a jam, and you get as a group, you lose the one. Can you talk about how any note can become the one?
Well, there's two sides of that. There's really two sides of how you want to look at the clave thing. The clave thing, if you're doing traditional Cuban or Afro-Cuban or salsa,
yeah.
and if you lose the one, you better know where you're at so you can finish the cycle. And in rock and roll, it doesn't really apply, although the feel and the mood would change. Now, there are some bands in Cuba that can actually switch the clave, and you'll never know it. And they're masters at it, as long as at the energy it goes seamlessly and with the same amount of energy, so it doesn't interrupt the dancer at all.
Exactly. So how did you learn to adapt yourself to the idea that to play in a fluid rock setting from more of a traditional like with Santana? Well, do you guys lose the one?
No, we just go 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. We never lose the one. We'll lose 2, 3, and 4 before we lose one. It's about feeling. It's about trusting, knowing where you're at. If you practice your art, you can walk in the dark. So if you're truly listening and you trust your comrades behind you, you could go outside. You could go really outside the line and really, have the band gonna support you when you come back.
Did you get a chance to play with the Escovedo brothers? And can you talk about that?
Of course,
of
yeah.
Course. I mean, here's the thing. Most cats are learning now. A lot of musicians, they learn in academia. You are a street scholar. Can you talk about how the education was taught on the streets by the Escovedo brothers to you?
At that time, learning was watching, listening, and
big ears.
And I used to do shows with Cal Jader, and the opening act was Azteca, and that was Coke Escovedo.
Wait, hold on. You were playing with Karl in the early 70s?
When I was in the 6th grade, I used to do special appearances, and
unbelievable.
We was Azteca, Karl.
Was Lenny White playing drums for Azteca?
I don't. It could have been either. It could have been.
Continue.
Lenny,
I don't want to interrupt.
It could have been
Go
Lenny
ahead. Talk about the
Terry.
learning style. The learning style.
Okay, so when you see Coke and Pete Escovedo, they have a West Coast sound.
Can you define that? As opposed to the East Coast?
Yes, it's much more broader as far as loose, open. Not the time moves, but the swing is way different. It's not so rigid, and by rhythmic law, and that's the magic that Pete and Coke brought. Coke was closer to Coke. I think, in my opinion, was closer to Tito Puente as far as sticking and feeling. And
did they both play timbales?
No. Yes, yeah. At sometimes I'm sure. I mean, I was 12 or 11 years old.
I know you were in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Coke was more. Go with that train.
Yeah.
Coke was more similar to who?
He was more similar to Puente style.
Uh-huh.
As far as the bacateo and all that. And Pete has a lot of that. But Pete has his own setups and his own turnarounds. His tuning is unique. He can take a few things that he's playing, and then at the end he can really pull it back. And these are the things that you just got to either understand it or it's going to go over your head. And then to really play a Latin rock thing, it's not as easy as you think, because most of the time the drummer is the steak and potatoes. He's holding it down, and we're the garnish, right? We're kind of like the embellishment. But Pete has a way to with his magnificence.
Yes.
He has a way to. I'm still in awe when I see him. He just
Dude,
doesn't
he's still
know.
cooking the groove, man.
Dude,
the Jada records of the early 70s, the Aqua Dolce, the stuff that he did with the Escovedo brothers, it holds up better today than it did then. But my question is this: can you talk about how you cook the groove with Cindy Blackman? I mean, do you work off the bass drum feel or the top of the kit?
Well, I think it just magically comes together.
It's magic. There's only two letters that separate magic and music.
That's right. Yeah. What are those? Just testing you.
I know. I'll get back to you later.
Yeah.
No, but
Two words
how long did it take you to lock in together?
Well, we understand. We speak the same language, so it was a down.
She's a jazzer, though.
Well, cool. Right on. Yeah, but she understands. She understands our vocabulary.
Can you talk about? I guess the better question is for cats out there, how to make a rhythm section not just play time, but play melodically, especially with you and Cindy on the bandstand.
That itself is going to take a little wisdom. It takes many years. You have to understand all the instruments that are surrounding you. You have to understand bass. You have to understand piano, horn, phrasing, and all that. That's how you become musical. And becoming musical requires you to listen to a lot of different types of music, not just the genre of you're going to play Latin percussion. Don't just listen to salsa or timba or rumba, because then you're going to miss all the cats like, Pete Escovedo, Coke Escovedo, Big Black. You're gonna miss all the. I
cannot believe you just give a shout out to Daniel Ray, Big Black, dude.
You're gonna
good
miss.
Friend
You're
of mine.
Gonna miss all these cats, and the Bill Summers, and these are guys that pave roads that will still take you home, but it was a different route, and sometimes a little bit more scenic.
Can you talk about a scenic? And did you have a chance to play with Bill?
Of course.
You
Yes,
talk about
many
talk about the scenic route that one of the memorable moments with Bill that was enlightening for you on a non-verbal musical level.
Non-verbal musical level. Bill and I, and I think it was in maybe Turku, Finland, and we were our rooms were next to each other, so we were on our balconies together. and see, I'm a fan. I'm still these guys. They don't understand that I'm still a fan. So
absolutely,
I'm blessed enough to where they look at me eye in the eye, right? But I'm looking at Bill, and I'm just saying, man, I can't believe it, man. All the records, you know, Herbie Hancock and all the stuff that he's just said. Not to mention the Lata work that he knows. So we were singing, and this was a part of my life where you say, I can't believe I'm in this moment right now. This is a guy. It's his fault, and Peter Escovedo's fault, Puente, Barreto, all these guys. It's their fault I play music.
Right.
Chepito, all these guys. It's their fault I play music. They inspire me so much. But here I am having a musical conversation with one of the legends.
Flip Nunez, did he have an impact on you?
Say it again?
Flip Nunez.
Cliff Nunez.
Flip.
Now,
because he played piano. You said you need to know because Azteca is near and dear to my heart.
That's right.
And Flip, I was born in
That's right,
'78, but you know
Flip Nunez. I haven't heard that name.
Yeah, well, this is why this is the Jake Feinberg show right here.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess here's the Carl. How important is it for you to talk to express the younger peeps on the bandstand about talk about Bill Summers? He's the lineage of the drum, how far it goes back, and also basically, you know, how Napoleon was thwarted because of the drum. How do you express that to modern day cats and make it real? Is it just through the bandstand? Because this is really what it's about. It's about a language.
Well, you know, a lot of that is lost due to people wanting knowledge faster through technology, and we want it now. So that you're not going to take the time. I actually, I go back to, you know, I can name cats, Choricera, Timbaleros like that, and then, you know, Papi Cadavieco, you know, Humberto Morales, and these are guys that are pillars in what we do. Now, the younger cats don't know that because it's a different time. It's faster, more information.
Computer based.
Guys there's no more reading the back of the CD.
Liner notes, records.
No more liner notes. There's no more. Of course, I learned how to play from records, and then when I seen the cats come from New York, I had to unlearn what I thought I knew and then reteach myself. But then I learned later on that this whole time I've been a double-edged sword because I could play either way. And the West Coast style is open. So when are we on film or
people are loving this all over the world, man.
Are we on film or can they see my hands?
Yes.
Okay, so check it out. So in New York, what I'm talking about in New York is close hand, right?
It's important.
West Coast. Or instead of, right? So all these different nuances and movements are going to help you get to where you need to go. So you can play open, two hands. Right?
We're about to make a lot of noise.
Okay.
The city needs to check a kit.
Okay. They're gonna do a little sound check out there. And
when she starts, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So that's cool.
Just what I want, just really for the audience. Someone said you had to unlearn. What could you unpack? What you mean by unlearn?
Well, what I thought at that time, or playing open-handed, and I seen cats like Milton Cordona, where they played one hand, and then I could see the other tapao coming off the left hand. I said, holy moly, man, what am I doing? I'm playing wrong. But it's not wrong, it's just different. So, and I know guys that play backwards. If you look at great timbaleros, man, like Luis Quintero, and you see how where they put, Diego Galé, where they put the hembra and the macho and the cowbell, David, Cuba and Puerto Rico, all these guys they play backwards. But if you close your eyes, it's not backwards.
Right.
And it's amazing how musical they really, really are. And at one time it was a law. No, the timbal has to be over here, and this, and you're not gonna tell that to the guy that wants to be creative and that's a caged lion, and once that cage is open, good luck. You're gonna get a guy like Luisito Quintero, and you're like, dang. Yeah, no worries.
Man, that's fine. Well, I'll capture her too. I want you to talk about how you're still growing in your own profession. Is it as an entertainer, as a technician? How are you still growing?
Spiritually.
Can you unpack that?
You become more aware, and you become more aware of the value of one note, not a bunch of notes. Faster's not better. Sometimes girls don't like it fast. You gotta know when to slow it down. One note is a million notes. One note is a million words. And you know how I know that? Because I play with Santana. And he can hit one note and freeze an arena. Freeze an arena with one note.
Spiritually,
that's spiritual.
That's spiritual. Carl Perazzo. Thank you, brother.
Right on, bro. Hey, practice.